Yo, 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 it is your boy Nice versus Wild, and you're listening to another episode of Beowulf Sessions. Thank you for tuning in. I'm going to be real with you. I thought I wasn't going to make it this week, hands down. I think we're like 49 episodes straight, 50 episodes straight, and 50 Mondays straight. Oh man, it was difficult. It was very difficult. The last 3 weeks, I've been crazy busy in NZ. We had the kids hoodie drop, which I want to talk about in this episode 2023. Went amazing. We had so many people come, so many kids, so many amazing interactions, which I want to tell you about, so many inspiring stories. I feel like I've got a lot to say, so let's just see how this session goes. And honestly, shooting weddings, creating amazing content for brands and stuff like that. It's been a busy 3 weeks. Every time I'm in New Zealand, I can't waste a second because I do spend a lot of time in Melbourne, like most of you know. And when I'm in NZ, it's like all execution mode, fully execution mode. And being a full-time creative entrepreneur, man, it gets difficult. You know, like I always talk about in episodes, is that time just clicks, man. It just keeps going. It just keeps ticking. And every day feels like, to me, it just keeps getting faster. So I'm super excited about this episode. If this is your first time tuning in, my name is Nigel Sashil. I am a full-time creative entrepreneur from South Auckland. I was born in a rural Fijian village called Lambasa, Bunileka, and my mission in life is to write a story that beats longer than my heart. Oh, all right. You're probably thinking, nice, is this a change of set? If you're watching on YouTube, yes, I am in my studio. So anytime I'm in New Zealand, I try to do as much things as I possibly can in the feature studio, which is the creative agency that I run. Honestly, it gets a little bit difficult because I do want to make the most of the studio, but man, organizing everything, the lighting, the cameras, sometimes it's just a mission, but I'm super stoked that I made the effort to pull this off. But like I said, every time I'm in the studio, just want to make the most of the time I'm here. So I hope you enjoy the set. If you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, go check out this episode on YouTube for the visuals. There's this really, really cool, what I wanted to show you guys is how cool is this? How cool is this? Oh my God. This little ship says Fiji, Bulla Fiji on it. It's absolutely incredible. Thank you. I got that actually as a present. So thanks. Shout out to Mom for hooking me up with that. So if you like watching visuals, go watch this episode on YouTube. It's going to get released on YouTube as well. Now, yeah, like I was saying, 3 weeks, hectic. Thought I wasn't going to make it to this Monday episode, but I'm glad you're here. Intro's done. So it's been busy. The first thing I wanted to talk about, I had a couple of notes in my diary this sort of the last 2 weeks, which I wanted to really share and get off my chest. The planning for the Kids Hoodie Drop 2023, man, it was difficult this year, you know. I didn't really know if I was going to be able to pull it off because I've been spending so much time in Melbourne as well. And I'm glad I did. I'm glad it all sort of came together and fell into place this year. Shout out to everybody that helped out, all the families that came through. But there was a standout story from the Kids Hoodie Drop this year. This year we did something different. So every year we give out kids hoodies to kids in South Auckland, all about breaking negative stereotypes in communities. And we go and have interactions and ask the kids what they want to be when they grow up. And this is where my heart is. Out of everything I do, to be honest, that project, part of the Beowulf movement, is probably the one that is a standout. It's the one that I probably wake up to feeling the most happiest and get the most amount of fulfillment from. Not gonna lie, if I could do that every single day and interact with kids every single day like that, that would be my highest level of accomplishing my dreams. But everything I do is for the rangatangi, it's for the kids, and and understanding their stories, giving them a time to chat, and asking them what they want to be. Man, you get some amazing answers, and especially doing this for the last 4 years, I have heard every crazy answer a kid could have, and it's you can see the amount of creativity all these kids have in communities, and it really makes my heart full, and it really keeps me going. So there was one story. So every year we give out kids hoodies, right? And ask them what they want to be. But this year we set up a table, special mention to IPYG, organization that's all about spreading peace in youth. Big shout out to them. They came through this year and actually came up with this idea. So we had like a little table where kids used to made like a little art area where they could draw, write, and stuff like that, and write literally what they want to be, and they can draw their favorite thing, and just write things on a piece of paper and get their ideas into writing in terms of visualizing what they want to be when they grow up. Now, there was one girl that was drawing, and I went up to her and I said, "Oh my God, that's an amazing drawing. What's your name?" And the first thing she replied to me was, "This is shit. I suck at drawing. This is so bad." And the only things that was coming out of her mouth was just like negative things about herself, like what she thought about herself. And I just thought this was a great example. And in terms of like, sometimes we bring ourselves down so much, and obviously being a kid, it's even more difficult, because you don't know who you are yet, and you're still developing your thinking process and stuff like that. But it was just interesting that like that the first things that came out of her mouth was like negative things about herself, and it got me thinking about a story that I used to talk about a lot in school. And it's around understanding this. Did you know that butterflies, yes, butterflies, can never ever see the colors of their wings? And us as humans or that see butterflies, we always say how beautiful they are. Oh my God, a butterfly is so beautiful, so colorful, so vibrant. And I talked about a little bit of this on my Instagram and TikTok, and I made a video about giving an example of a butterfly. And a butterfly is so beautiful, right? And only we can see the colors. The butterfly can never ever see how colorful, how vibrant, how much energy the butterfly has flying around, how amazing it looks in the world. And this is a great example because the butterfly will never know how colorful it is. Just like this kid that I was speaking to, because it goes to show that others may be able to see the value and how much creative flow and how amazing of a drawer you are, but you might never ever realize it. And I want you to think about this, okay? Every time you bring yourself down, just remember a butterfly can never see the colors. So don't be like that butterfly that can't see their colors. A butterfly is beautiful, and I want you to really take that thinking process and realize that like you're beautiful, and you might not see it all the time. And your drawing is beautiful, your art is beautiful, your business is beautiful, your creativity is beautiful, the value that you bring is beautiful. And I think we really need to think about that. And I straight away when the kid said that to me, and I was like, hey, don't ever say that. Oh my God. Like I told her, I was like, oh my God, you're amazing. Just believe it. Like I believe in you. I believe in you. And sometimes all somebody needs is one person to believe in them to make that magic happen. And she was like, after I had a little bit of a conversation with her, like her speaking language kind of changed. Like she started to say, oh my God, yeah, that's actually pretty cool. Like, oh my God, yeah, I like those colors. So she started to see the colors, same colors that we see in a butterfly. She started to see the colors on paper. Then she realized, oh, actually, this might be pretty cool what I'm drawing. But who's drawing it? It's that little girl. So who is the most beautiful person in this conversation? It's the girl and the value she brings. So sometimes we don't see the value in ourselves, but others can see it. So we need to create communities and environments where we support each other in a way where sometimes it's about the other person, it's not about yourself. So if you see somebody doing really, really well in your circle, in your communities, in your business, in your work environment, I encourage you to really reach out and give them a prop up, like give them a heads up, like I don't know if prop up was the right word, to be honest, but like, you get what I mean. Like, give them a shout out. Like, make them feel good, because I promise you it's going to go a long way. Another example, running a creative agency, it sometimes gets hard, like, especially with my businesses and future weddings, like, in working in a team environment. Like, I wrote this down, like, a simple well done to your team can go a long way. And I always try to give massive props to everybody that I work with. The reason I do that is because I feel like one good comment is like, they remember that stuff forever. People remember that stuff forever. I remember when my bosses and my leaders said, hey, well done, guys, on a project, or, like when I was working at a corporate job or something like that, when people used to give me props, like, I used to remember that stuff. So if you're a leader right now in your communities and your businesses, really make an effort to spend some time with the people that are running your business, running your craft, and give them a prop, give them a shout out, because I think it's really, really important, especially being a leader, a CEO, a creative, or even an individual that's trying to make change in communities. So yeah, hope you enjoyed those two stories. Like, it's been busy, man, like, hands down. Good busy, like, not just busy wasting time, more like the last couple of weeks, I really just wanted to execute. And I was a little bit scared that I wasn't going to release this episode and I wasn't going to make my Monday. But I'm glad I did. And I'm glad how amazing the kids' hoodie drop went. And just remember, you're beautiful just like a butterfly. Even though you might not be able to see how beautiful you are, others can see it. And if someone tells you you're doing amazing, I want you to believe it, because it's probably true. And if they're lying and they're saying something positive, I'm still for it. Like, just take the positive energy and believe in something, because in order for you to achieve greatness in your life, you have to start somewhere. Like, even if you're like, I was never a good photographer. Like, to be honest, I still feel like I'm not the greatest. I've got people on my team that are way better than me. I'm every day, when I have these conversations or these sessions, like, I still suck and I make mistakes in these episodes. But it's the process and trying, right? Like, every day I try to get a little bit better in my craft and my conversations and my interactions. And like, it's you might not be good at something off the bat. But it's the belief in it. Like, it's the belief that the goal and the process of getting to progress to be better every single day is what's going to help. And I think that girl that I was talking to, I think she eventually realized that, oh my gosh, she's actually an amazing artist. And to be honest, she was actually an amazing artist, and she was probably only like maybe 11 or 12, not too sure, but like, it was amazing to see how much creativity she brought to the table. And I was just a little bit sad, to be honest. I went back home and I was like thinking about it, and I was like, that's why I need to talk about it in this session, because I wrote it down in my diary and I was like, okay, I'm going to talk about this today. And I think sometimes we devalue how amazing we are, and there's so much value that you can bring. So yeah, that was two things I kind of wanted to talk about: kids hoodie drop, and obviously give you guys some examples. Second thing was, I've been feeling creative. I've been feeling like I'm on the right track on most occasions. I feel like I've been having the right conversations, but there was a couple of conversations I had in the last 2 weeks that didn't really make any sense to me. And it was about, someone said to me that you can't make money as a creative. And I wrote this down in my diary, and I was like fucking thinking to myself, like, every day I wake up and I try to prove people wrong on that point. And, I just had like amazing milestone where my wedding business hit 100K. And that was a big deal for me, because, to be honest, it took me a while to hit that. But I was quite stoked, and I celebrated the win. But like, I was in this conversation and someone was like, hey, like, you can never make money as a creative. And I think that's absolutely bullshit, because your creativity in this world is probably the most valuable. And a lot of times people are going to be like, fuck, there's no money involved. But it's not even about the money. It's about how much love you have for your craft, that you can keep doing it without the money. We put so much value into like making a certain amount of money in our craft. And I think that's fucking bullshit. You need to, if you go into anything in life, and if you go into it thinking about, oh, this might bring me cash flow, or this might bring me a lot of money, and might be able to buy a big house, a big Ferrari, like it's never gonna work. You have to do something that makes your heart beat, because the reason for it is you have to stay in it for long periods of time, and I'm talking decades. It took me decades. It took me at least 10 years where I felt like, oh fuck, my wedding company started to feel like, wedding content agency, like, started to feel like it's making some traction. It's making some money, because it takes decades. It really does. And if you go into the mindset thinking like, oh fuck, I'm not gonna make money, like as a creative, like, it's never gonna work out. And someone said that to me, and I, like, to be honest, I got triggered, and I had a conversation with my partner about it, and she, like, explained it, and she was like, she kind of explained it in a way like that kind of mind fucked me. And she was like, did you get triggered because you kind of felt like that it's kind of true? And I was like, holy shit, wait a minute. And and then I told her, I was like, it's not that I think it's true. It's because I've been having so many conversations with business owners, entrepreneurs, industry leaders and stuff like that have so much self-belief in themselves. And I had one conversation with one person that said, you can't make money as a creative. And it drained a bit of energy out of me. And it's like, it's so important to surround yourself, especially if you're in the growth phase or in the startup phase, with people that actually believe in your goals and your ambitions, or believe in their own goals and ambitions. Because if you're in an environment where they're just like no self-belief at all, fuck, that energy is gonna get passed on to you. And I told her that. I was like, it's not that the doubt, like, she unlocked the light bulb in my, because like I was so down about it. I kind of like I was anxious. It's like my anxiety kicked in because someone said that, and I was like, oh, my phone's ringing on a podcast. It's my missus calling. Oh shit. Well, it's still recording, so we've got to roll with it. So, it's so, like, back to my thought. It's crazy, like, that we do that, right? That we surround ourselves with energy, like, that can, we do surround ourselves with energy that can bring us down. And I think energy management is huge, and I've talked about it in a lot of sessions, but this was a great example, I thought. And I straight off the bat, and it was like, okay, like, it's not that I doubt it, it's more the fact that, like, I've been making so much effort to prove that point wrong, that, like, when someone brings that into my box, I'm like straight shoving it out of the door, like, and because I've got so much belief, and I've got so many examples of, like, how many times I've pulled it off. So, like, it's like going around in circles in my head, and I hate it when someone says that, because it makes me feel like that they don't believe in their craft enough. And I hate that. I want people to believe in their craft, and if they don't believe it, like, keep trying things. Keep trying things that's gonna make your heart tick. But man, it is what it is, and I think keep at it. There was a couple of things I sort of wrote down in my diary this week. What else was there? I think the last thing is, like, I think I talked about this a little bit, but, like, being busy. I've been thinking about this a lot. Being busy is great, and, like, trying to do things and, like, really execute. But, like, when you're shooting for the stars, you make sure you don't burn anyone down. And I think this is a big point. And I think I talked about it a little bit in the last episode. But I think make sure you spend time with people that bring you energy. So I actually had a chill session with some of my high school mates just last night. And it's so great to get, like, a room of people that I went to high school with. And, like, some of my best friends, like, I always say that I can be my full self around some of my high school friends that I'm super close with, just, like, reflecting on high school days in the past, and, like, really thinking about, like, how far we've come as individuals. And I think sometimes we have to take back and do those reflection sessions to really discover how amazing, or how far we've come in our life and our journey, because every day is all about growth, right? And not only growth, but also about, understanding ourselves better. So I encourage you, like if you're an entrepreneur, a busy entrepreneur or business owner, or even just an individual that's trying to be better, take time to spend with your loved ones. The loved ones that bring your energy up, not the other way around, if that makes sense. But yeah, that's a couple of things I had in my diary this week. Quick 20-minute session. Hopefully that helps. Almost 1 year of Beer Wolf sessions, and I'm super excited. The next 12 months, I think we're going to take this up a notch, and I feel like I'm getting a lot better. If you go back to and listen to my first episode, it was absolutely terrible. But I feel like, we'll keep this up another 1,000 episodes. I reckon I'll be a master at this craft. But, if we never try, we never grow. If we never grow, we'll never know who the heck we are. So here we go. What a session, man. It's been good. It's been good spending some time in the studio. I fly back to Melbourne on Monday when this episode gets released. 8:30 flight. So thanks, South Auckland, for having me for the last 3 weeks. I will be back. I've got a crazy couple of months. Fiji, LA. It's going to be exciting. I did do a couple of Beer Wolf sessions inside the studio, which I'm going to release with a couple of people as well in the next couple of weeks. So I'm looking forward to it. I did do a cool podcast as well via Zoom, which is going to get released next week. But yeah, make sure you tune in next week. And thanks you for listening to another episode of Beer Wolf Sessions. Big love and big shout out to Feature Weddings for sponsoring this episode. You can go check this episode out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, as well as YouTube. The visuals, I might not be looking at the camera because my brain's thinking, but hey, at least I did some visuals. I'm proud of myself. All right, let's go. Keep being a wolf. Big love. Go tell somebody that you love them today after watching this episode before you start doing and executing, because I think that is the most important part. If you like this episode, chuck us a review. If you hate it, please chuck a review. The negative reviews keep me going even more. But yeah, go check a review if you love it. Share it with a mate if you love it, and if you think they'll find value in it. But other than that, peace and love. I'll see you next Monday. Let's go! Woo!